Alright guys, welcome back. We are going to test this truck right here on one of the heaviest, most, I would say, tippiest cargo in the game. If we go back to my streams on this region here, which is Almaty, I used some smaller 6x6 trucks, and one of them was the Fleet Star, and it had a lot of trouble keeping this cargo on its wheels, getting out of this quarry. Not so much with the Paystar. I did lose cargo a handful of times. I lost the engine a handful of times. Actually, probably maybe 2 times I lost the engine. However, it just felt like I couldn't get right. So, you know, I haven't really picked up SnowRunner in about 2 weeks since I finished Season 13. So I just wanted to bring the almighty Freightliner down here. 145,000 torque OMD3 tires. And we have 2 slate blocks on here, and they're both 7 metric tons. They are stupid tippy. So I'm going to try to see if I can get up out of here, unlike with the Fleet Star. So I'm actually expecting this to have, let's say, a difficult time, but we're going to try it and just see if it holds up. So let's get after it. You can see this is already, I can already feel it wanting to just pull my vehicle here. And even with the Fleet Star going through these little muddy spots as well, I found myself even wanting to tip over. So you really have to try to use your angles on here. And something I really liked about this region is you see, at any point you can tip yourself over here, especially if you're not using a larger truck that's really not affected by, you know, things like this. So, but smaller trucks like this right here, you kind of have to go tactfully about the way you maneuver around these areas. Especially what I've been seeing is if I drive over this and then my trailer hits this, it upsets my truck because my trailer weight becomes upset. And if I don't have any angles input, which coming out of the quarry, you're kind of stuck that way, right? That's where I was finding myself getting into situations where I was tipping myself over. So you can see it's constantly, you know, fighting left and right here with a semi-trailer. I really like how Saber did this as well, because this little narrow corridors that you have to kind of go down, you don't have a lot of space to use your angles, especially with the trailer like this. So you can see I'm kind of struggling right now stopping this from tipping, because you can see it's already wanting to go, so I'm trying to give it, yeah, it's already there. So let's do this actually. Okay, now it got over that rock. You see how I was saying about it hitting rocks and then wanting to tip itself over? So I need to angle back this way, because my trailer's kind of tipping over that way, but we had a pretty good tolerance for what the trailer could take there on that last one, so that's kind of a good test there. Constantly trying to keep my angles in, keep my trailer upright. This cargo is really top heavy, so keeping that in mind, I need to be ready to turn in to your tips. There's not a lot of area to turn into. That's the issue, and this is pretty much the spot where I'm gonna have the most issue. Actually, is coming up here. There's the engine strength kind of showing its ugly face there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna try to drive straight and then turn in. And then turn in. Okay, cool. That balanced out. Good. So now it's going to start coming back up. So what I want to do is I kind of want to get myself turned this way. As soon as I get the hit That bump right there is what I need. Boom. And then we turn back in here. So I'm constantly looking at, with this load, something I've learned is I'm always keeping my eyes on what this is actually hitting here, because I don't have many places to turn down in and turn left and right to regain balance, right? Because once this gets upset here, if your truck cannot handle it, aka like the Fleetstar, you're going to tip over. And that's kind of what we saw on the stream. However, you've seen that I knew when I was going over this bump right here, whenever my wheels were hitting that, it was going to lift this side up and I was going to regain my balance. So that's why I was able to turn up here. So now, something to learn about in these quarries with trailers like this is you kind of have to keep your back wheels as a factor on what terrain they're striking as well. Usually in prior DLCs, it wasn't really a huge factor like that. But in this one, that's something I've been kind of noticing, is you kind of have to really keep an eye on what your trailer is contacting as well with its wheels. Because usually on prior seasons, I can always get away with just, you know, if I start tipping to my left or right, listing to my left and right, I just turn down in. So, and I don't know what we're contacting here. I think I'm actually stuck on something. Wait, no, I'm not. Must have been a rock or something in there. But this cargo is stupid heavy, so you can see the engine's almost max performing here. We're almost hitting 5 gallons per minute, which is pretty heavy consumption if you're getting 5 gallons a minute on an engine this small. Pretty sure this is the same engine that's in the I believe it's the Lodestar shares this same engine. Other ones like the Kodiak as well. So one change I would love to see to this truck is giving it a new engine. Maybe even sharing something like, I don't know, the Ford CLT's engine, perhaps even the Transtar's engine. I think just that small bump would be enough, honestly. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get up this with a packed load, honestly. I don't see it. Maybe. Let's go. Let's go, Freight. Let's go, Freight. Yeah, we're completely froze up. Okay, so for this little trick, sure a lot of people know about this. Little unpacking cargo. I think this cargo is like 3 metric tons unpacked, 7 metric tons when it's packed. So yeah, it's a little trick there. You can see how much weight comes down whenever you actually pack it back. This was another spot with the Fleetstar on stream that I had issues with, and this is kind of where the trailer was striking areas when my truck was actually stabilized, and it was actually causing my truck to become unstable at some spots. So it's usually right in here. So we're gonna test this out. But honestly, this truck and the Paystar handled it really well. As you can see, it's having pretty much no issues, which it just kind of shows the balance of this truck is just much better than some. So I'm actually really pleased with this. But something I did see that Saber added is in these little mud pits here that are in these quarries, you can't actually tip yourself over. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Dawn. I've seen myself actually get upset in some of these pits. So that's something you kind of need to keep aware of. Like right there, that trailer going up like that with my Fleetstar, I probably would have I probably would have tipped over right there. But yeah, most of the time in this place, you're pretty much going to be diff lock engaged. I highly recommend it. I know it's coming up to tell me to switch out of it, but you can see it's kind of fading back to light green because I'm getting harder terrain. But pretty much, yeah, we're on hardened ground right now, and I'm still diff lock, and we're okay until we get up to here, and they'll probably tell me to kick it off. But yeah, most of the time, you probably just want to have your diff locks engaged. This is another little area. But this is what I was talking about on stream with using smaller trucks to kind of like feel the game's native difficulty. And I think you lose that when you're using very large, very stable, very strong trucks in the game. But when you come down here with, you know, a smaller 6x6, you know, a heavy duty, or even, you know, some of the B, C tier off-road trucks, you can kind of really feel this difficulty a little bit more, as you can see. And this is going to be another little tight spot that I need to pretty much try to maneuver correctly here. So I need to come up this way, and then I need to actually turn to clear that. And I'm going to try to miss that boulder with my trailer, because I don't want to hit that boulder with my trailer tire. But I do need to turn in, so I need to be cognizant of that trailer tire striking that right there. And I think this is where it's gonna really be an issue. Maybe not, let's see. Get a little speed here. There we go. Okay, cool. We kind of dodged that bullet there. That's good. Just gotta worry about these stones here. So let's kind of pick up some speed here. See if I can actually bump by these. Just gotta be aware of the trailer wanting to do that right there. So let's back up again. There we go. Just need the front wheels to grab some good terrain. Steer into it. Some speed here. This is gonna be another little spot up here that's gonna kind of pose a little bit of issue. He's right there. Kind of wants to kick me over. Okay, I need to try to get some speed so I can actually make this bump. There we go. Yeah, I highly recommend, if you think the game of SnowRunner is easy, I highly recommend pulling back on the trucks you're using. I think you'll find out that the game definitely feels harder with lower tier trucks. So I'm turning this way because, as you can see, that trailer seemed like it wanted to go there, but the truck kind of held on, which I'm very impressed with its balance right now. I definitely know there's a few that wouldn't survive that. Let's see if I can just get some speed here. Almost 5.0 gallons per minute. Unreal. 145,000 torque. Let's go. Let's go. That's 14 metric tons. That's on this trailer right now, and it's pulling it out of here. I'm very impressed with this. Very, very impressed. Let's kick all-wheel drive off and see if we can save some fuel here, now that we're on some type of decent terrain. So we're still actually not out of the woods yet. There's still a bunch of little turns here. Sometimes it's those areas that, you feel you're safe, and then you kind of get lulled to sleep, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, something happens, like right here. That could have easily tipped me over. Gotta watch where your trailer placement is. So you can see I'm just constantly just throwing the camera back and forth like this, looking at how my trailer's doing, how my truck is doing, depending on what they're striking, because you kind of have to like react. That's essentially how this goes. See the trailer's just hitting different types of bumps inside that mud pit there, which yeah, it can throw you over. But I highly recommend trying out this truck, trying out other vehicles, rather than just the Tega, Boron, Zix. I feel as though if you feel the game is not difficult, yet you enjoy it, there's a lot of different ways that you can still enjoy this game. And for me personally, I think within, oh gosh, I would say the last 2 years, I've been pretty much trying to stay away from a lot of the stronger trucks in the game just to feel the game's actual difficulty. And I think you kind of get stripped of that when you use really strong trucks, because you're essentially just holding the gas trigger and just going through terrain, and I don't think that's very immersive in my opinion. But I do feel that this game definitely has a good bit of difficulty, and I actually really love this region as well. Less mud, more difficulty with just holding balance. So hats off to Saber on this one.